We're going to go over many different Christmas traditions around the world, from the food that's eaten to the way things are celebrated. There are so many ways that are celebrated that we just don't know about here in America, and we're going to learn about those tonight, Thursday, December 24th, 2020, on the Darkwolf's Den Show. But first, today in history. And how fitting for the season, folks, that our Today in History on Christmas Eve happens to be about a Christmas carol. Check this out. The Christmas carol Silent Night, composed by Franz Xavier Gruber, is first sung at St. Nicholas Parish Church in Obendorf, Austria on this day. And that is today's Today in History. And of course, Silent Night, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful and relaxing Christmas carols ever. But let me ask you guys, is that a tradition that you guys do? Do you go out and sing Christmas carols to the neighborhood, or carols in the house on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? Is that a tradition that you follow? The funny thing about the holidays is a lot of different households have different little unique traditions that they carry on over the years. And I was in the backstage lounge a little while back, and I asked the group back there, I said, hey, is there any traditions that you guys do that aren't exactly like the most mainstream, most normally well-known traditions? And somebody come up with one that I had never, ever heard of before, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever has heard of the Christmas donkey? I guess this is an Italian thing, so if you're Italian, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, you're probably as confused as I was when I first heard it. But ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you now, before we go any further, the tradition of Dominic the Donkey.
Hey, jingity-jing, it's Dominic the donkey, jingity-jing, the Italian Christmas donkey, la la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Santa's got a little friend, his name is Dominic, the cutest little donkey, you'll never see him kick. When Santa visits his paisans with Dominic, he'll be, because the reindeer cannot climb the hills of Italy. Hey, jingity-jing, it's Dominic the donkey, jingity-jing, the Italian Christmas donkey, la la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 Jingle bells around his feet and presents on the sled. Hey, look at the Mayor's Derby on top of Dominic's head. A pair of shoes for Louis and a dress for Josephine. The label on the inside says they're made in Brooklyn. Hey, jingity-jing, it's Dominic the donkey. Jingity-jing, donkey, la la la, la 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 la. La la la, la 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 la. Children sing and clap their hands and Dominic starts to dance. They talk Italian to him and he even understands. Kumaras and kumbaras do they dance ad arandel. When Santa Nicola comes to town and brings Ujucharilla. Hey, jingity-jing, it's Dominic the donkey, jingity-jing, the Italian Christmas donkey, la la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Hey, Dominic, buon Natale.
And like we mentioned before the song, that is a Italian Christmas tradition, Dominic the Donkey. And of course, we don't hear about a lot of other Christmas traditions around the world here in America because we get so caught up in our own traditions, as I'm sure each one does. But as we continue on tonight, we're going to follow Santa around the world, and we're going to talk about some of these amazing worldwide Christmas traditions. From the meals to the way they're celebrated and everything in between, we're going to cover quite a bit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And our first stop on this fun little trip around the world is going to be in the Ukraine.
What is your favorite part of Christmas planning? If it is decorating the Christmas tree, then you probably have a big stash of felt toys, metallic stars, pines, banners, and LED lights.
As well as a ton of Christmas balls.
Is that what you use for decorations? Not if you're in the Ukraine. This beautiful country has its Christmas trees covered in spider webs. You heard that right. Small ornaments in the shape of a spider and its webs are hung on the Christmas tree.
What about that, you guys? Have you ever encountered the spider web ornaments or the spiders that hang around on Christmas trees? Not exactly something I would personally want to be decorating my tree with, but that's only because I really, really, really hate spiders. But let me know over there in the chat. Would you put spiders on your Christmas tree? Go ahead, put a 1 if you'd put spiders or have put spiders on your Christmas tree this year. Put a 2 if you would not ever put spiders and spider webs around your Christmas tree. And put 3 if it really didn't matter to you one way or the other. I do believe that I'm a hard 2 on that one, by the way.
Weird tradition it is, but it comes with a folklore. There is a legend that once a poor widow lived with her kids in a small hut and had no money to decorate a tree for Christmas. But when her children awoke on Christmas Day, the tree was covered in webs that glistened gold and silver in the morning light. Now this legend is celebrated on the big holiday. Sweet!
I gotta say, if I woke up and seen my Christmas tree covered in spider webs of gold and silver and whatnot, I don't think celebration would be the first thing on my mind. Infestation, but maybe not celebration, right guys? Alright, moving on from the Ukraine, we're gonna travel across the world over to the Philippines.
Each year on the Saturday before Christmas Eve, the city of San Fernando proves why it's called the Christmas capital of the Philippines. People from all across the globe flock to this city to be a part of the festivities. 11 villages take part in the Giant Lantern Festival, which, as the name suggests, is a competition to build the most elaborate lantern. It started off with simple lanterns about half a meter in diameter, made with Japanese origami paper. But today, the lanterns are made from a variety of materials and have grown to around 6 meters in size. They are illuminated by electric bulbs that sparkle in a kaleidoscope of patterns. That surely is a sight to behold.
And I gotta say, a sight I'd rather behold opposed to the spiders and spiderweb infestation of the Ukraine, right? But seriously, I would love to see this lantern competition go off. I might have to pull some videos up in the backstage after the show here. Good night, guys, and see what we can find on these lantern celebrations. That actually sounds like it would look pretty cool. Next up, we're going to jump back up to the north, and we're going to go over to Sweden and check out some Swedish Christmas tradition.
How do the Swedish celebrate Christmas? Well, they put up a giant straw statue of a goat in the center of Gavel's Castle Square on December 1st. Where did this strange idea come from? Well, the Yule goat was supposed to help deliver presents, so sometimes Santa Claus would ride a goat instead of his sleigh.
How many of you folks here have heard of the Yule goat, right? I had never heard of it before this year. That's not to say it's new, it's just to say I didn't know about it. I didn't know about Dominic the donkey either, so we've learned about 2 Christmas animals this year. That is interesting enough, but have you ever seen like wicker monuments, or not even monuments, that's not, wicker statues and little ornaments, I guess you'd say, of the Christmas goat? I have seen goat statues around Christmas, but I never really thought, two things of it. I never would have put it together to actually being a Swedish Christmas tradition.
So when in 1966, when the town of Gavel wanted something over-the-top Christmassy for the town square, a giant Yule goat seemed like a great idea. We understand that, but make it from something as flammable as straw? We are directing focus here because in the past 50 years, the Gavel Yule goat has been destroyed 35 times. Yes, some people try to burn it down every year, and others bet on whether the goat will make it to Christmas. Now that's what you call strange.
I gotta say, that's kind of funny. It's sad that people would destroy things like that around Christmas season, but equally just the same. It's kind of funny to place bets and see how long it's actually going to last, right? See how long it takes for somebody to take the thing out. Straw isn't exactly the best material to work with as far as flammability. It will go up really quickly. And next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go from Sweden and we're going to drop down just a little bit on the map to a place that I actually have a very personal connection to, and that would be Austria.
Dress up like Santa and distribute sweets? Nah, that's so boring for the Austrian. So, you're more likely to find a beast-like demon creature that roams city streets, frightening kids and punishing the bad ones. And this isn't even Halloween, guys. This is the first week of December.
And if you guys have caught some of the network shows like over with AJ the Rippin' Rabbit over there, then you guys might recognize this character right off the bat.
In Austrian tradition, St. Nicholas rewards nice little boys and girls, while Krampus, his evil accomplice, is said to capture the naughtiest children and whisk them away in his sack. So, on St. Nicholas Day, a lot of men dress up like Krampus and set out frightening children with clattering chains and bells. Yikes!
And of course, I'm sure most all of us have heard the story of Krampus probably quite a bit this year, so I'm not going to go over that and spend a lot of time on that. So we're going to jump over little ways into Russia and see what kind of Russian traditions are held for Christmas.
Russians have their own way of living life, and when it comes to Christmas, their traditions are sort of similar to ours in the West. We have the good old dude Santa Claus to get us gifts, and Russians prefer the idea of babushka doing the rounds.
Oh goodness, with all the craziness we've heard so far, please tell us what in the world is a babushka?
Hey, relax. That's not an army, but how the Russians call their grandmothers.
Okay, phew, I was a little worried there for a moment. These Christmas traditions gotten a little weird there for a second. This one seems a little more normal in my book, I guess you'd say.
So, on January 7, which, by the way, is the date they celebrate Christmas on, old grannies play Santa. But why? Based on the biblical story of the woman who didn't give a gift to the baby Jesus, the tradition was built because, to repent, the lady gives gifts to children. We do like the idea of receiving presents from grannies. It is adorable.
I have to agree, that is absolutely adorable, Grandma giving you gifts. And of course, in America, we're very traditional as far as the elders goes, and making sure our elders are taken care of on Christmas time and things like that. And a lot of times, you go to grandmother's house and grandmother has a very special gift for you, whether it be a candy or, something you would never get any other time but from grandma, right? So we're not all that different here in America, although we don't celebrate it for the fact of the biblical story being connected. Also, we don't celebrate Christmas on January 7th. We celebrate it on December 24th, and I just learned something new tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and maybe you guys did too. Russia celebrates Christmas on January 7th. Did you guys know that? And that is today's fact you probably didn't know of the day. Haha! No, I'm totally kidding. That is not a regular segment. But moving along, nevertheless, still staying in the same region of the world, we're going to jump back up north to Norway.
Number 7. Norway. Perhaps one of the most unorthodox Christmas Eve traditions can be found in Norway, where people hide their brooms. This bizarre tradition is centuries old, to a time when people believed that witches would steal the brooms for a midnight ride.
As you guys know, we've tried to resurrect the Christmas ghost stories this year, and, that's all well and good, but I think some of these folks got their Halloween and Christmas ideas completely mixed up.
Till this date, Norwegians hide their brooms in the darkest corners of the house to protect them. This sounds fun.
But that actually isn't the only Christmas tradition that is a little odd that is held by Norwegians. Not only do they believe that witches are going to come steal their broom for a midnight Christmas ride next to Santa, but they also have a food tradition, and we'll get more into the foods of Christmas around the world here in the second half, because there's some really interesting stuff about that you guys are not going to want to miss. But check this out. They have an interesting food thing for Christmas, a tradition also.
If this wasn't enough for you, wait till you hear about the porridge ritual. It is believed that if Nis, a sort of gnome-like guardian spirit who lives in Norwegian barns, doesn't get porridge left out for him with a big dollop of butter on top, he will wreak havoc. This naughty monster might tie the tails of the cows to show his displeasure, so his serving of porridge gets extra butter. Simple.
So instead of leaving cookies out for Santa on Christmas, they leave out a big bowl of porridge with lots and lots of butter on top for the little demon creature that lives in the barn that'll tie the tails of cows that mess with your farm animals if you don't feed them porridge. You know, I gotta say that's a little odd, but it's not completely out there. Okay, maybe a little bit. I'm not the biggest porridge fan in the world. I prefer the Oreo cookies, right? Nevertheless, we're going to drop down now from the Norwegian territories down into the South American territories.
Colombia. Celebrated on December 7, on the eve of Immaculate Conception, the Little Candles Day is one of the most celebrated traditional holidays in Colombia. You can call it the unofficial start of the Christmas season in the country. You're expecting the start to be eventful, and trust us, you won't be disappointed. On this night, people place candles and lanterns on their windows, balconies, streets, sidewalks, and parks to commence the festive season. People take it so seriously that neighbors can be seen competing with each other to be tagged the best decorated house. That sounds a fun way to welcome the big holiday.
And this is the second time a festival of lights has come up in the celebrations and traditions of Christmas. And you know, we talked about in a couple shows this year how the darkness and just the fact that Christmas is and solstice is much a darker time. We don't have as much light hours in the day, things like that. It is very interesting that multiple cultures once again have come up with this idea of the lights of Christmas, the lights of the middle of winter, you know, lighting up the darkness somehow. It is really always intriguing to me when I find different cultures across the world that share that same traditional style. And once again, that's twice that it's come up in our show tonight. And we're going to continue to stay in the South American territory and jump on over to Venezuela.
Number 9, Venezuela. One fine day, people of Venezuela decided that Christmas needs to be improved, and what better way than adding a touch of rollerblading?
Now, we don't really hear about a lot of Christmas sports, right? When's the last time you turned on the TV for the Christmas sports besides the American football? Let's be clear, guys. But honestly, you don't hear about a lot of Christmas traditions that involve sports of some type. So let's find out what the Venezuelans did with the rollerblading.
Okay, we don't know how this started, but in the capital city of Caracas, there's a tradition of people roller skating to the early morning church services from 16th to 24th December. The roads are often closed to traffic by 8 a.m. to make it safe for people to skate. That is probably the only country where you'll find this less than traditional outdoor sport being incorporated in Christmas festivities. Totally worth experiencing.
I gotta say, I'm not completely opposed to that one. I kind of like the idea of going out and rollerblading on Christmas. As long as Christmas isn't like, -2 degrees, then I don't think rollerblading would be as much fun, right, guys? It'd be a little harder to stand on the ice with the rollerblades, right? But of course, in South America, it doesn't really get too much like that. It's like closer to the equator, so they don't have as many issues with the snow and ice and things like that. Up here in the northern part of the Americas, I don't think that would be as fun a tradition, as it gets quite icy in some areas. One of those areas, of course, being the most northern American area you can get, ladies and gentlemen, the Christmas traditions of Canada.
Number 10, Canada. Santa Claus hailed from Canada, or at least that's what Canadians believe, so it makes sense that this old man is an important part of the celebrations.
Now, I have never heard that Santa was thought to have came from Canada. I mean, it's not insanely crazy, as I was told the Santa Claus that I remember lived in the North Pole, right? So the North Pole is pretty close to the top of Canada. Or it used to be in the world that I remembered. But anyway, I can totally understand why they could lay such a crazy claim there.
But there's no beating Toronto's love for Mr. Claus. After all, they have a full-fledged parade dedicated to him. The Toronto Santa Claus Parade, held annually on the third Sunday of November, with about 500,000 people in attendance.
And of course, we know in America we have both our Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as well as our Macy's Christmas Day Parade. So those are always wonderful traditions that we held here in America. And it's nice to know that there's others that do that same parading.
It is rightly called one of the biggest and oldest in the world. The city hosts the annual Cavalcade of Lights to officially mark the start of festive season, where the Nathan Phillips Square and Christmas tree are illuminated by more than 300,000 energy-efficient LED lights that shine from dusk until 11 p.m. until the new year. Plus, you get to play in snow on Christmas in Canada. It cannot get better than this.
And that is one thing for many, many years that I absolutely missed about winter and Christmas, is the snow. That is one of those holiday things that I just love, a white Christmas, right? To build the snowman and have the snowball fights and just be surrounded by the visual beauty of the gorgeous snow of Christmas. Well, I lived in the northern parts of the United States when I was a child, and I remembered what that was like. And then we moved to the South for, I was down in the South for about 30 years, which is actually where I'm originally from. And I came back to the northern areas 3 years ago. And let me tell you, one of the reasons that I decided to make that move was because I remembered the Christmases as a child and the beautiful snow-covered, hills and mountains and sledding and playing in the snow and like I said, just everything, the snowball fights and all the fun that you can have in the snow. That is one Christmas tradition that I absolutely love. Another Christmas tradition that I have is having a coffee with peppermint mocha in it. Like the creamer stuff. I love some peppermint at Christmas time. That is my one flavor of Christmas. What about you guys? Do you have a Christmas flavor? A certain flavor that only once a year you get to experience, certain treats that you only get to have one time or one season a year. Another Christmas treat we used to do around my house was peanut butter pie. And I don't know if a lot of you have heard of peanut butter pie. A lot of people I've talked to actually haven't heard of that. Or peanut butter pudding without the pie shell, of course. It's the exact same thing. And it's basically a custard, an egg custard that has peanut butter added to it. And is allowed to set up in a pie shell form or just a pudding form. There was one more pie that we used. We liked a lot of pie down in the South, didn't we? But one more we used to call the deer hunter's pie. And we only made this during deer hunting season, which actually also ended up being the Christmas and holiday season. How convenient is that? You can actually find this recipe if you look up Mandarin orange pie. It's basically a whipped cream with all the different fruits and mandarin oranges, and you can add the nuts and just whatever kind of things that you enjoy. So those were two of the Christmas traditions that we held around my house at Christmas time every year. And of course they centered around food. They actually surprised you. And we'll get into those in the second half of the DarkWolf's Den Show, but we have to go ahead and take a network break right here, and we will be back for that second half here in just a couple minutes. Don't you touch that dial.
We gotta stoke the fires and run off the men in black. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. It's AJ, the Rippin' Rabbit. I hope you're having a happy holidays. I hope you're celebrating with your friends, your family. Heck, I hope you're celebrating with your friend's family or family's friends. I got to tell you, I've been tracking Santa Claus live on NORAD all night, which you can do too by visiting rippinrabbithole.com. Featured news, top story of the moment, Santa tracker live. And it looks like he has just climbed into the upper part of North America, as it looks like he's making his way down along Quebec and Canada. You can track him. You can go and watch him travel and see how close he is to you or me. I'm watching him. By the time he gets around Colorado, I'm going to bed. Based on his position right now, if I were Juanito 1975, I'd already be tucking myself in. My top hat's off to Jerry Hicks and the Darkwolf's Den Show for howling at this holiday, Christmas Eve. I'll be back again tomorrow night, Christmas Day night, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central, with Christmas caroling. That's right, we're going to go merrily a-caroling along. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I think karaoke is going to be involved in some way. I'm not sure. You can sing along tomorrow night as we carol our way out of Christmas. As we look forward to the new year, that's right, my goodness, tomorrow night, Christmas, December 25th. Then Saturday night, December 26th, I'm going to focus on the top UFOs of 2020. I watch this. I even belong to the UFO group over there at the Rippin' Rabbits, and I watch the latest and greatest UFO sightings. And I got to tell you, I have quite a collection to share with you Saturday night. Then we'll end out the weekend right Sunday with a look at reinventing yourself in 2021. We'll dive down the rabbit hole together and look at ways that we can change our evil ways. But tonight, let's focus on Christmas Eve with the Darkwolf's Den Show. You're listening to the very best of Common Sense Radio, the Rippin' Rabbit Hole. Merry Christmas, everyone.
If you were meant to be controlled, you would have come with a remote, but you didn't. And that's why you listen to the Darkwolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
Thank you, Walt. Merry Christmas, Walt. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and welcome back to the second half of the Darkwolf's Den Show. Whether you're on the edge of reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, December 24th, 2020, also known as Christmas Eve 2020, and our very first annual Christmas Eve on the radio, and we cannot be more excited to have the honor and pleasure of doing our first Christmas Eve show. So what a great thing that is, and what an incredible gift to myself from the audience, from you guys, and from just fate itself, right? Just the ability to have it on this day. But ladies and gentlemen, as we move along tonight, we talked a lot about traditions that are different around the world, whether you're in Norway or Sweden or Austria or South America or even Canada, actually, and Northern America. All of our traditions vary just a little bit. And our traditions in celebration are just as varied as the tradition of what we eat on Christmas. In America, of course, we know we eat the ham, and a lot of people pull the turkey back out for one more round on Christmas. But what is around the world, generally speaking, what is eaten by these other cultures? Some of these may surprise you, some of these you may have heard of before. Without any further ado, though, ladies and gentlemen, nevertheless, let's get to our first country of food origin for Christmas traditions. The first country on our list tonight is the UK, England. Let's see what kind of Christmas feasts they have in England. You've actually heard a couple of pieces of theirs we did on the show here. We talked about the Christmas pudding, for instance, and we're actually going to hear about that here again in just a second.
The UK. While turkey is often reserved for Thanksgiving in America, over in the UK it's the main course at Christmas.
I don't think I fully agree with that particular statement, at least not in our household growing up. We sometimes had ham, sometimes we had turkey, and a lot of times we had both. So turkey was more of just a holiday season meal, not just Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving and Christmas in our household.
although some households might prefer goose or chicken. Whatever the choice of bird, it's traditionally served with roast chestnuts, parsnips, potatoes, Brussels sprouts, tiny sausages wrapped in bacon, cranberry sauce, and a splash of hot gravy.
Anything wrapped in bacon is amazing in my thing. Would probably be a little grossed out by that statement. I do apologize, guys. But there was a lot of vegetables in that. That sounded more like the traditional style Christmas dinner. Maybe a couple things we don't generally serve in America, but we usually got the potatoes and, the general steak. Sounded like more of a classic traditional Christmas, but UK. Like I said before, we heard about the Christmas pudding and how that used to actually be illegal at one point to make during Christmas in England. But that is a very classic Christmas tradition in England.
Frick is doused in flaming brandy and served as Christmas pudding. Once everyone's had their fill, it's time to pull Christmas crackers, which usually contain a paper party hat and a really bad dad joke printed on a slip of paper. Here's an example. What's the best Christmas present you can buy? A broken drum. You can't beat it, eh? Can't beat it, like a drum.
Or like a really good dad joke, right? You can't beat it. But ladies and gentlemen, I've never done the Christmas crackers. I know some people in our audience actually do them every year. Like My Life DIY and her family actually do the Christmas crackers, which is really awesome. I really hope sometime to get one. It's cool. I've never done it, and it's one of those experiences I would like to experience for the Christmas season sometime. So maybe one of these years I'll get to pop open a Christmas cracker on Christmas. That would be really amazing. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next Christmas dinner. I hope you guys are hungry. We're going to get our be as stuffed as seal.
Arctic style by serving specially prepared dishes like maddock and kiviat, traditional Inuit delicacies that make the most adventurous of foodies' stomachs turn. Maddock is the skin of a whale, usually diced or serrated and served raw.
And of course, a lot of us across the world had never heard of a effect, so that is an odd little creature there because it's a creature, but that's way off topic. Anyway, cutting up the fat, not sure how appetizing that one sounds, but wait till you hear their next feast. Took the bird dish, like we heard earlier, everybody usually has chicken or goose or turkey or some kind of bird for Christmas. Well, they took this to a whole new level. Check this out.
Kiviak is a dish of fermented birds with a rather unusual method of preparation. To make kiviak, a seal skin is first hollowed, then stuffed with some 400 to 500 seabirds called auks. The auks are stuffed into the seal's body, complete with feathers and all, which are then sewn and sealed up with grease to allow for 7 months of fermentation. Come Christmas, the birds are taken out and served straight up from the seal's gut. This is definitely not a feast for the faint-hearted.
You know what? Maybe being stuffed as a seal isn't such a good idea after all. Although a lot of us will be stuffed with bird after this holiday season. I don't know about being stuffed like that in fermented bird meat. That doesn't even sound appetizing to me. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is a Greenland tradition for Christmas. And following that, we're going to jump way over across the world to Zimbabwe.
The typical Zimbabwean Christmas dinner can include fresh roasted ox or goat, cornmeal porridge, bread, jam, and tea. But the special treat reserved for the occasion is chicken served with rice, since chicken is an expensive food item in the landlocked African nation. Beats fermented seabirds, that's for sure.
I think we can all agree at this point anything beats fermented seabirds, but nevertheless, just the same, I gotta say that's more of a closer to the traditional, very simple holiday meal. I give it to that. I don't know about porridge. Porridge seems to come up quite a bit tonight, doesn't it? Not exactly one of my favorite meals. How about you guys? You guys like porridge? Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat room if you even had porridge before. Put a 2 in the chat room if you've had it and you like it. And put a 3 in the chat room if you think it's the worst thing known to man, or you just really ain't a big fan of porridge at all. Next up on our list is one that I literally just heard about like 3 months ago. I had never heard about this Christmas tradition we're about to present here until I heard it on the video on YouTube and I went, what? But interestingly enough, this has really become kind of popular. I've found people talking about it quite a bit recently in the communities that I've been hanging around and different things. But I gotta say, this one here is it was unexpected when I heard about it. It might be something you've never heard of before, ladies and gentlemen. So without any further ado, let's see how Japan celebrates Christmas with their meals.
Japan. In a nation where most people are Shinto or Buddhist, Christmas in Japan is more of a commercial affair and definitely not a national holiday. Much like Valentine's Day, Christmas in Japan is a time for young couples to exchange gifts and have romantic dinners.
Well, that's definitely a different kind of twist on the holiday. Of course, they don't celebrate the traditional Christmas, but they do have the dinners, like they said, couples dinners, but you're never going to believe where these couples dinners actually take place. For those who know, if you haven't, please don't put it in the chat yet. For those that do, I'm just as mind-boggled as you guys are. Check this out, guys. Here is the most famous restaurant to go out to dinner with your loved one, your Valentine's loved one, if you will. Because remember, Japan's Christmas is more of a Valentine's Day, he said. So where do you think is the number one traditional restaurant that they go to on Valentine's Day, or Christmas in this case, if you will? Check this out.
While many restaurants are packed with reservations made weeks in advance, none are busier on December 25th than KFC.
And for those wondering if KFC is like maybe some kind of Japanese restaurant, or just initials for something else, no, it's that KFC. The Kentucky KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's right. Kentucky Fried Chicken is their number one restaurant on this day, every year. Like their Valentine's, our Christmas Day, when they go out with their loved one, they go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they actually call it Kentucky for Christmas. So yeah, as intriguing as that is, I had never heard that until a couple months ago.
This tradition began in 1974, thanks to a clever advertising campaign called Kirisumasu Niwa Kentucky, meaning Kentucky for Christmas. Ever since then, the Colonel's Fried Chicken has become the go-to Christmas meal, with the franchise's outlets getting orders weeks in advance during the holiday season. Of course, Japanese Christmas wouldn't be complete without cake for dessert.
And around the holiday season, we hear about fruit cake, and every now and then you might see like a white cake with some really cute designs or something on it, but you don't really see a lot of different cakes during Christmas. It's usually pies and things like that. But the Japanese eat a cake on Christmas that us Americans tend to save for more of a spring and summer season. So Americans will recognize this, but we don't tend to eat this one for Christmas. Check this out, guys.
Unlike American fruitcakes, Japanese Christmas cake is usually sponge decorated with whipped cream and strawberries.
Or what I would call a strawberry shortcake. Of course, you're supposed to have shortcake, but I've used sponge cake more times than I can count as shortcake, and it works. So, yeah, there you go. Sponge cake and strawberries and whipped cream. Strawberry shortcake. There we go. Strawberry shortcake with Christmas, which, I mean, it doesn't sound bad. That's quite tasty, especially compared to some we've already heard for Christmas, right?
In fact, the shortcake emoji in our phones is based off the Japanese Christmas cake.
Wow, did you guys know that? Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat room if you knew that the strawberry shortcake emoji was actually the Japanese Christmas cake emoji. I did not. Go ahead and put a 2 if you're in the same boat I'm in and really had no idea at all. And put a 3 if this is the first time you've even heard about Japanese Christmas traditions. Nevertheless, we're going to move on up now to the Norse country one more time and find out what's on the Finnish dinner table for Christmas. Because remember, Lapland, Finland is now what is considered the North Pole, the most northern landmass now. I say now because a lot of us remember the North Pole being a little bit different, but I'm not going to get into that. That's a Mandela effect thing, and I don't want to get too far off topic for Christmas Eve. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lapland, Finland, of course, like I said, is Santa's home, and he's going to be leaving home tonight and traveling around the world and delivering presents to everybody. Matter of fact, he should be out on his way right now. He probably left hours ago, actually. He should be flying around the world right now, delivering presents to all the good little boys and girls. So let's hope they're not listening to this show, and if they are, you need to get in bed so Santa can come. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Santa coming, he is coming from Finland, and the Finnish dinner table actually has a a couple interesting choices for Christmas dinner also.
The Finnish Christmas dinner is a feast consisting of dishes with names that will twist your tongue, but fill your taste buds with delight. The holy trinity of Finnish Christmas foods are the kinku, an oven-baked ham, lontalaatikko, a kind of turnip casserole, and rosali, a colorful mixed beetroot salad that looks like gemstones on a plate. Depending on the size of the dinner party, these are usually served with a variety of fish dishes, mainly smoked salmon and herring.
I kind of would like to see one of these root salads. I bet that'd be really pretty, look like gemstones on a plate, right? But fish, that's something we don't tend to hear in the classic traditional Christmas holiday meal is fish. We find a lot of bird, right? So it's really neat that they've got something that is kind of culturally different than most of the rest of the world.
After the main course, the night is made sweeter with piparkakku, gingerbread cookies spiced with cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, and jallartartu, tarts filled with plum jam made in the shape of a star and dusted with powdered sugar. Desserts are enjoyed with a warm glass of glöggi, mulled wine, traditionally drunk by travelers to brace the cold Scandinavian weather.
I gotta say, with a dessert selection like that, I would definitely be making myself sick on those. I would eat so much. Those desserts sounded absolutely delicious to me. And a little mulled wine to roll it down with. Oh yeah, I would be a wolf in heaven there. I tell you what, I might have to go to Finland one of these years and visit Santa's workshop just to have some traditional Christmas Finnish feastings. But we're going to stay in the northern area, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to visit Poland and find out what's on the Polish dinner table for Christmas.
Christmas Eve in Poland is a whole day of fasting leading up to Wigilia, the feast which starts when the first star appears in the night sky.
I can't ever say that I really fasted on Christmas. That's not something in America that's really done. In America, we're more gluttonous and try to put as much in our bodies as we can fit in our hands. But, you know, that's beside the point. We like to eat in America. That's no question to that. But fasting, I think that's actually kind of brilliant. Make sure your body's ready to be filled with all these different amazing nutrients and food. And yeah, that's not a bad idea after all. So fasting on Christmas Eve up until the very first star. And you know, everybody's staring every which way but loose trying to figure out where this first star is. They're waiting for that sucker to shine through, right? And then it's chow time.
Traditionally, Vigilia is a huge meal that features a 12-course dinner, with each course representing the 12 apostles and the 12 months of the year.
And it really is amazing how often the number 12 does show up in different places, from spirituality to religion to the calendar, and just a lot of different things are based on the number 12. And I might actually have to try to do a radio show about that here in the next coming couple months, see what I can put together about the wonders of the number 12. But that's speculation. You know, we'll get into that later. I'm not sure about the schedule that far down the line, but nonetheless, let's figure out what else they have on the Polish dinner table.
Regardless of what's being served, expect dinner to last for at least a few hours. The feasting kicks off with a Christmas wafer that symbolizes Jesus Christ. There's no red meat served at a Polish Christmas dinner, and main courses consist of carp and herring dishes.
And once again, we find the seafood making its way into the Christmas dinner table for some of these cultures. This is something, once again, that we don't really do much of in America on Christmas, is the fish dinners. We tend to go for the bird dinners, as we see many other cultures do too. So really neat, we found yet another fish culture here, fish eating culture for Christmas dinner.
The evening would not be complete without borscht, a beetroot soup served with uska, a type of ravioli made for the occasion. This is followed by a dessert made of noodles with poppy seeds. I'm sure it's better than it sounds.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll be digging in on that dessert table. What about you guys? You think you'll be chowing down on the Polish desserts? Definitely not this wolf. But guys, we have traveled around the world tonight for traditions. We've traveled around the world and we've looked at different dinners and different Christmas meals that are had on this amazing Christmas Eve night. And I am so glad once again and honored to be able to do a Christmas Eve episode for you guys. I just cannot tell you how elated I am to have the honor of fate to do this. So this is truly a gift to me from the universe to be able to talk to you guys on this very special night. And Before we close this out, there is a tradition that I would love to carry on. It is a well-known American holiday tradition. I would say English-speaking holiday tradition. And that, of course, is the reading of the famous poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," right? But before we do that, what is the history of the night before Christmas? Where did it come from? Did it just appear in history one day, or, who wrote it? What did it mean? Well, we're going to find out right now. And stick around just a couple minutes, guys, because right after this, we are going to literally read the poem, "The Night Before Christmas," or "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," on the night before Christmas right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, first up, the history of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
The poem we know as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" was originally titled "A Visit from St. Nicholas." It was written in 1823 by Clement Clark Moore, a minister from New York. The poem tells a brief tale of a man who is awoken by strange noises outside his home on Christmas Eve. He looks out the window to see St. Nicholas approaching with his flying reindeer. As the poem progresses, the narrator eventually has an encounter with the saint. When the poem was first written, Moore chose to publish it anonymously. He had written it for his children, and since he was a minister, scholar, and professor, he did not feel it was appropriate to have his name attached to such a light-hearted tale. It was not until many years later that he chose to claim ownership over the poem. The poem has brought us many different things which we now consider long-standing aspects of our Christmas tradition, primarily the appearance of St. Nicholas, or Santa Claus. The physical description Moore gives, describing rosy cheeks, a white beard, and a round little belly, help to firmly establish our modern vision of Santa's appearance. Aside from that, Moore also created the names of many of the reindeer and established the story that the reindeer fly. Additionally, the poem also gave rise to the notion that Santa comes down the chimney to deliver presents, although all in earlier traditions. The poem itself has become a part of the holiday tradition, and many believe it is the best-known poem ever written by an American. Many families choose to read and recite the poem each year, and it has come to symbolize a strong part of a traditional Christmas.
And that information comes to us from the YouTube channel called Reading Through History. Thank you for giving us that information, Reading Through History, and Merry Christmas to you guys over there. We hope you guys are doing wonderful this year. Nevertheless, as he mentioned, it is a classic traditional holiday thing to read the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" on the night before Christmas, or Christmas Eve. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what we're going to do right now. The Darkwolf's Den Show presents "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," also known as a visit from St. Nicholas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. A mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down our brains for a long winter's nap. When out of the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday on objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagle his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, on Blitzen. to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away all, as dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof of the prancing and pawning of each little hoof, as I drew in my head and was turning around. Down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes how they twinkled, his dimples how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like down on a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, even as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Ho, 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 ho. We got to close it out. That's right, that is it for this very special Christmas Eve edition of the DarkWolf's Den Show for Thursday, December 24th, 2020. So whether you're on the edge of reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Den may be closing for the last time this weekend, but don't you worry, here on Rippin' Common Sense Radio and the Rippin'RabbitHole.com, the weekend fun has only just begun, that's right. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, Friday, December 25th, 2020, Christmas night, as a matter of fact, for our buddy AJ the Rippin' Rabbit's Rippin' Rabbit Hole live show, where he's going to be talking about Christmas caroling tomorrow night. Maybe we'll sing some classic Christmas carols. Maybe we'll discuss the beginnings and origins. I don't know what kind of amazing fun he has planned, but I do know that it is going to be some amazing fun. And then on Saturday, make sure you come back for the best UFOs of 2020. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, so much to choose from in this category. I would really hate to be him right now, having to choose the best of the best for 2020 UFOs, because you want to talk about the weirdest year in history. This, ladies and gentlemen, has been it. So make sure you tune in to find out his picks for those UFOs on Saturday, December 26th, 2020. Then on Sunday, December 27th, 2020, AJ's going to close the weekend out with Reinventing Yourself. That's right, we do the weekends right around here, and we're going to finish out the Christmas season. Of course, the holiday season will be over on the 27th. The Christmas season part of it will anyway. And as we go toward the new year, a lot of people are going to be thinking about their New Year's resolutions, or things that they would like to improve or change in their life, or how they would like to reinvent themselves for the new year. Well, that's exactly what AJ is going to be talking about on Sunday, is reinventing yourself. So make sure you come back Friday, December 25th, 2020, Saturday, December 26th, 2020, and Sunday, December 27th, 2020, for AJ the Rippin' Rabbit and the Rippin' Rabbit Hole live show, because the animals a weekend do it right every weekend here on Rippin' Common Sense Radio, Rippin'RabbitHole.com, and Rippin' Rabbit Hole on YouTube, as well as our DarkWolf's Den Show YouTube channel over there on Wednesday and Thursday nights. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate all the support you guys have given us all year long. We cannot tell you how thankful we are, because without you guys, we could not do this. Worldwide even on the internet radio and the YouTubes. Guys, without you guys' support, there's no way we could do any of this. So it's because of you, for you, and thanks to you that we are both able and willing and really have the opportunity to do this for you guys every week. So from the very bottom of my heart, thank you so very deeply. Sincerely, guys, without you guys, there's no show, there's no Dark Wolf, there's no amazing chances like we've had this year. So keep supporting us, keep helping us out, put the word out about the rippinrabbithole.com, about Rippin' Common Sense Radio, because we're going to level 2.0 next year. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are taking the Rippin' Rabbit Hole to a whole nother level. There's so much coming in 2020. Make sure you go over to RIPONRABBITHOLE.com. That's right. Get on our mailing list. We will send out an email every Wednesday morning, and it will have the full schedule for the entire weekend on it. And make sure you guys keep up with that, because we will only send one email. That's it. We won't spam. We won't send more stuff. We won't sell your email. We have no interest in any of that. We just want you to know when we're going to be on and what we're going to be talking about, just in case the topic really does intrigue you more than others. So make sure you sign up for that. And while you're over there, guys, jump down the rabbit hole. That's right. That is where our group section is. We hit them at the bottom of the rabbit holes, or at least as you're traveling down. There's all kind of groups in there, from the Lucid Dreaming group to the Darkwolf's Den Show, the Rippin' Rabbit Hole Show, and so very much more. So I'm sure there's your topic over there, no matter what topic it may be. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go over there to the 24/7 Backstage Lounge and hang out with the Rippin' Rabbit Hole Rabbits over there, because for you guys around the world, the conversation is just now ending, but for the Rippin' Rabbits, now the conversation is just beginning, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you dropped in and say hi to us back there, because we are going to have a Christmas Eve party tonight. I guarantee you that. I know the rabbits, and I know we are going to have a wonderful Christmas Eve party and an insanely amazing time back there. So if you're able to drop in, make sure you drop in. We've only got 50 seats, so first come, first serve. Make sure you hurry your way back. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Chick Mandela Effect, Michael Musco, Walter House, Juanito 1975, the community players of the Rippin' Rabbit Hole, and Mr. AJ the Rippin' Rabbit himself, and everybody at Rippin' Common Sense Radio, my name is Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and we would all like to wish you a very happy holidays, a Merry, Merry Christmas, and we will see you guys on New Year's, ladies and gentlemen. At least that's when I'll be back. Make sure you tune in for AJ the Rippin' Rabbit tomorrow night. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Happy holidays, and I will see you guys on the next one. Remember, always stay awake, but dare to dream. Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas. Oh, yeah!
Hey, jingity jing, it's Dominic the donkey. Jingity jing, the Italian Christmas donkey. La la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Santa's got a little friend, his name is Dominic, the cutest little donkey. You'll never see him kick. When Santa visits his paisans with Dominic, he'll be, because the reindeer cannot climb the hills of Italy. Hey, jingity jing, it's Dominic the donkey. Jingity jing, the Italian Christmas donkey. La 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 la. Jingle bells around his feet and presents on the sled. Hey, look at the Mayor's Derby on top of Dominic's head. A pair of shoes for Louis and a dress for Josephine. The label on the inside says they're made in Brooklyn. Hey, jingity-jing, it's Dominic the donkey. Jingity-jing, the Italian Christmas donkey. La 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 la. Children sing and clap their hands and Dominic starts to dance. They talk Italian to him and he even understands. Kumaras and kumbaras do they dance ad arandel. When Santa Nicola comes to town and brings ujucharilla. Hey, jingity-jing, it's Dominic the donkey. Jingity-jing, the Italian Christmas donkey. La 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 la. La 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 da. Hey, Dominic, buona Natale.
I'm lost and into the dark. Some things are better left unknown. And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever home. Oh, what a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. Oh, what a sinner is it in her? What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays. What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner is it in her? Is this real? Just illusion? I'm lost in wonderland of confusion. I'm lost in wonderland of confusion. Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation or a dark delusion? Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a